This is times 4. This is times 4 times 4 times 4. Okay? Alright? So what happens if we have something that's maybe a combination of the two we just did? Let's say we have u sub 1 equals 4, and u sub r plus 1 equals 2 u sub r plus 5. Okay, I'm not going to do the longhand this time. I'm just going to kind of show you what happens. Well, we know our first term is 4, okay, because it's given. Okay, I lied. Maybe I will show you the shorthand. This is when, or the longhand, when r equals 1. So we go ahead and plug in 1 for every r. We end up with u sub 2 equaling 2 times 4 plus 5. So basically, 2 times 4 is 8, plus 5 is 13. So basically, we take this number, we multiply it by 2, order of operations, and then add 5. Okay? So u sub 3, we're going to do the same way. We take this number and we multiply it by 2, so that's 26, plus 5 is 31. Okay? U sub 4 times by 2, that's 62, plus 5 is 67. Okay, and finally u sub 5, 67 times 2 is 134, plus 5 is 139. That's right. Or just double check. Yeah. Okay, that's right. Okay, so that's how you find the first 5 terms when given an inductive definition. Okay. So next, what we need to do is we're going to be the ones suggesting an inductive definition. So we'll start with something easy, like this, okay? So remember, inductive definitions have 2 parts. We have our starting value, which happens to be this one, okay? And I'm just numbering these for you just so you get the idea of how we write our u subs, okay? But all we really care about is this one to start with. So our first part of our inductive definition states what our first value is. U sub 1 equals 15, okay? And now what we should notice is that we're losing 1 each time. Losing 1, okay, and that's the pattern. So we always start with u sub r plus 1 equals, okay, there's nothing being multiplied, so we're going to say u sub r, but what we're doing is we're losing 1, minus 1, okay? Alright, so our last task today was to find a rule for the rth term. Alright, so let me give you a sequence, okay? So let's start with 20, 18, 16, 14, okay? So here's the deal. Normally we write a rule that looks like this, okay? Alright, and this basically says that we're adding 1 each time. Well, this is not the rth term, okay? This is the rth plus 1 term. So what we actually need to do is we need to write a rule for u sub r. And what you're going to see is this rule resembles a linear equation much more so than the inductive definition. Since we're only writing the rule part, we're not writing the starting value, which means that the rule has to include our starting value, or in this case, the y-intercept, which unfortunately is not shown in a sequence because this is u sub 1, u sub 2, u sub 3, u sub 4. So let me show you how we're going to do this. So hopefully you've noticed that we're decreasing by 2 each time. Alright? So since we don't have u sub 0, and we really need that to write a rule, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and write u sub 0. Now, keep in mind, this term does not actually exist in the sequence for us, but it's going to exist for us to write our rule, okay? So if I'm going down by 2, right, each time, that means that if I work backwards, I'm actually increasing by 2. So that means that this would have a value of 22. So our y-intercept essentially would be 22, okay? All right? And now we can say minus our slope in this case, which is 2. But we're in recursion mode, okay? Or not recursion mode, sorry, inductive definition recursion mode. So we're going to actually call this R. These two have to match. If I have U sub R here, I have to have R here. So let's do a little test and see if this works. Okay, so let's go ahead and find term 4. Okay. One of the benefits of being able to write the rule rather than the inductive definition is that I can find any term at any time without needing to know the prior term. So it makes it a little faster. Okay, so I'm finding the fourth term, which is why I put a 4 in for R. If I put a 4 in for R here, I also have to put a 4 in for this R. Okay, so this means U sub 4 equals 22 minus 8. So U sub 4 equals 14. Let's go up and check, is that what I have? The answer is yes. Alright, so let's do another one. Let's do this sequence, okay? So we're going to write a rule for the rth term, okay? So I'm going to say U sub R equals something, okay? And I'm just going to remind myself that we're starting with U sub 1 because this is the first term of the sequence. The sequence typically does not have a 0 term unless we're talking about, say, a real world problem like interest or population growth or something. Alright, so here we go. We're increasing by 4 on each of these, which makes this an arithmetic sequence. Okay. So if we're increasing by 4, that means that if we go backwards, 24 to 20, 20 to 16, we're decreasing by 4, which means that 8 minus 4 is 4. So we're going to start with 4 here. Okay? Should have picked a different number so we had a different increase, but that's alright. So our growth is plus 4. And then since we're using R, I'm going to write R here. So these two have to match again. Okay, so if we do a test, and I suggest that you always do a test so you know if you're right or not. Let's try U sub 5. Okay, so I'm going to test for U sub 5 and make sure it works. If I have a 5 here, I have to have a 5 wherever there's another R, which happens to be here. So I end up with 4 plus 20, and that equals 24. So if I go up here, look at that, U sub 5 has a value of 24, so this is a correct rth rule. Okay, so if we go back and look at our learning targets really quick, what we're going to see is that at this point you should be able to say what a sequence, term, and inductive definition are. You should be able to read and write that inductive definition as well as the rule for the rth term. Okay, we wrote the first few terms in a sequence, which means that you will hopefully be able to do that. We've suggested inductive definitions, and we just wrote the formula for the rth term. So it sounds like we've met our learning targets, and you will have time to practice these tomorrow in class. Make sure that you have your detailed notes with you when you arrive.